Hi, welcome back to Questions. So here's our next question. How can I help God? And of course, I'd answer this question totally differently on any day of the week, probably. But the first thing that I thought of, and I think sometimes it's good, I don't go back and research these generally, by the way, except for the question about whether I like One Direction. I had to go listen to them. How can I help God? Number one way you can help God is to be yourself, is just be yourself. And try to be the best self, the most true to yourself you can be. And that helps God because, like we talked about in one class, each person is God's expression of himself into the world. So when you're being yourself, you're being true to what he was trying to say. And that helps. Because, it's kind of like, if you're... if there's times that the best way to help is to not get in somebody's way. And when we're ourselves, then we don't get in God's way. It's kind of funny because people think that you have to be something different to help God. No, you just have to be yourself, but you have to be yourself free from silly things that we sometimes wrap around ourselves. Ships that go out in the ocean for a long time get barnacles all coating the hull and everything. And those barnacles have to be scraped off because they start to slow the ship down and makes it harder for it to move through the water. And the same way for us, we collect barnacles. We collect junk around us. We collect worries about what's going to happen in the future, what college we're going to go to. I worry about what job I might be going to next. We worry about money. And then people worry about what people think of them. And I've been kind of blessed that I don't worry about that as much, but I have friends that really worry about it. They're very, very concerned what other people think. That just gets in the way. So number one thing to help God, be yourself. And then he'll guide you to what, you can do in the vast, great, wonderful plan of life. It'll just happen naturally. Be surprised. You really don't have to worry a whole lot. I have a great clip on that about just the simple joy of living. And
I'd hoped...
For what?
For this meeting. Such a long time. To learn.
To learn?
Yes, about your people, your beliefs, the secret of your life on Mars.
On Tyr.
Tyr?
This is the planet Tyr.
Yes, Tyr.
Secret? There is no secret. Anyone with eyes can see the way to live.
How?
By watching life, observing nature and cooperating with it. Making common cause with the process of existence.
How?
By living life for itself, don't you see? Deriving pleasure from the gift of pure being.
The gift of pure being.
Life is its own answer. Accept it and enjoy it day by day. Live as well as possible. Expect no more. Destroy nothing. Humble nothing. Look for fault in nothing. Leave unsullied and untouched all that is beautiful. Hold that which lives in all reverence. For life is given by the sovereign of our universe. Given to be savored, to be luxuriated in, to be respected.
But that's no secret. You're intelligent. You know as well as I what has to be done.
Did God have friends? There you go. Now, some people, when they say that, they're asking, did Jesus have friends? And other people are saying, did God have friends? Now, does that mean does God have friends that are like him? No, there's the Trinity, which we can get into the theology of the Trinity sometime, which is really interesting because it relates to this very nicely. Jesus having friends, he was friends with the apostles, and he told them so. Now, most people that are a big deal don't, you know, they kind of keep a distance, but he didn't. He was like, no, I call you my friends. You know, you're not slaves. You're not something else. You're my friends. It's interesting because in the Gospel of John, John is not called John. John is called the disciple that Jesus loved. He had a special relationship there that they were buddies of a different sort. Now, some people, and this is not scriptural, say that John was the youngest of all the apostles, and maybe John was kind of not a favorite, but a closer friend because Jesus just felt something for him because he was the youngest. Maybe he reached out to him more. I don't know. But there's a funny story about that. I mean, a funny saying about that is that that John was the apostle that Jesus loved most, and that Peter was the apostle that loved Jesus most. Sometimes the people that we like the most don't necessarily like us back at the same level, because obviously there was a special relationship with Peter and Jesus. I mean, Jesus picked Peter. He didn't pick his best buddy, necessarily John. But he was close to all of them, and when that was obvious, they lived together for 3 years, you know, traveling every place. And if you ever hung around with somebody walking everywhere for 3 years, you can be pretty close, or else you leave. So yeah, friends. Obviously, we can be friends of God, and that's a wonderful thing. And to have him as a friend is a good thing. No one's truer and stays loving at the same way, certainly. Okay. Why do people want to see you fail? Oh, it's a good question. So we'll get into a couple of these that are about more, not negative, but, you know, I mean, it's true. So think about it a moment. Why do people want to see you fail, if they do? Isn't one of the reasons because if we're doing really well, some people resent the success, and that causes them to want to see fail. I mean, it's a horrible thing. Never want anybody to fail. There are people I know that are absolutely wretched people. They're horrible. They're disgusting. They do very, very horrible things. I'm thinking of somebody in particular who did something very, very horrible to a friend of mine. I mean, unspeakably bad. And at the same time, I know that she's really, really confused and foolish. And yeah, it was horrible. Do I wish her badly? No, I can't. How can I wish her to fail? That would be wrong. So sometimes people want somebody to fail because they feel the person deserves to fail. They think the person is bad. In one of the Batman movies, Alfred says, some people just want to see the world burn. The fact is, the news kind of wants people to fail because that makes news. If people do bad things, the news can sell a lot of time on that. People doing good things really aren't as interesting to us. It's sad. That's really true. If the news was nothing but good news, people wouldn't probably watch it as much. People are looking at it to see that other people have it worse. People are looking at it to get a warning of bad things that could happen to them and just to see something different every day. And it's sad that people want to see people fail. We have to love them anyway. I hope that helps. If I didn't answer it very well, ask again and clarify it. Maybe I'll do something. Can you pray in a different way? And yes, there are at least 7 billion ways to pray. Everybody prays in their own way. If you think about it, when we have friends, different friends, we talk to them, and very frequently we talk to each friend a little bit different. Our relationship is a little different. That matters. Within the church, obviously there's silent prayer. There's prayer where we go off someplace by ourselves. Prayer where we go off with other people. There's all kinds of different retreats, which you'll learn about soon. But then there's public prayer. There's praying with other people. Sometimes we sit in a circle and everybody just prays. That's how we did it when we said night prayers with my family when my children were small. We don't do that as much as we used to because everybody's grown and they're moving around and they're not here a lot. I should fix that. But yeah, you can definitely pray in a different way. And maybe in class we can talk about that. You can all share with each other how you pray and what your experience is. Some people pray by painting a picture. Some people pray by playing music. Some people pray by composing music. Oh my goodness, there's just so many ways. We know a priest that's really into the idea of making icons, making works of art as a prayer, as a method of meditation. So, and looking at art can be prayer. Looking at nature, going out camping, sometimes it's just beautiful, and we'll do that. Let's see. Okay, can God help me find peace, and how? Well, it kind of goes back to the other question. Yes. And the key to it is to be yourself and get the help that you need from God to be yourself, because being ourselves doesn't always go over well with other people. That sometimes it doesn't work out very well. So, yeah, I mean, the answer is yes. And sorry, just got a message. Okay. So yes, and I hope that's what the classes are helping with. I guess the other thing is that there's different kinds of non-peace for us. Some of us are not at peace because we're unhappy. Some are not at peace because other people around us are doing horrible things and hurting us. Sometimes we're not at peace because we haven't found what we're supposed to be doing. There's just all these different reasons. And to all those, there's an answer. But a lot of it is just learning to be ourselves and then do what makes sense. I always remember St. Augustine said one of the most dangerous things of all time, which was love God and then do what you want. But you could also say be yourself as God wants you to be. And do what you want. You know, if you're really yourself and you really are true to the you that God made, the you that came forth from the hands of God, that beautiful soul that's there. I'm not going to get all philosophical about the soul because it's a term we use. But yes, that's probably the best path to peace, is to be yourself and seek that. Some people call it finding yourself. If we find ourselves, if we're truly ourselves, we find God. The closer we get to God, the more we become ourselves. Because he's kind of like a wall. Other times he's like a warrior that protects ourselves. That both takes away the things that aren't us and sometimes keeps things away that would interfere with us or keep us from being less than we were meant to be. So anyway, I hope that helps. I hope that's a good answer. Okay. Thank you.